Today is challenge day.
We are going to shoot the Yashica T3 versus
the Nikon D850.
Let's see how it goes. So here are the rules for our camera challenge. Each photographer is going to draw one camera, which they are going to use throughout the entire portrait photography shoot with our model Leia. Afterwards, we are going to reveal the results and compare how our shooting experience with each camera went. Okay, so now it's time to draw who gets which camera. Okay, I got the Nikon, so you got the Yashica.
I got the Yashica T3. It's our little point and shoot camera. It's already loaded with film. I guess it's a Fuji C200. And yeah, let's see how it goes.
I got the Nikon D850. It's pretty much a workhorse, and I'm excited to shoot some portraits today. So we are ready to start the battle between the Nikon D850 and the Yashica T3. It's of course a battle versus digital camera and film camera. We started out using our favorite green backdrop, and we only used available light throughout the entire shoot to keep our results consistent. So for this camera challenge, Chris was working with the Yashica T3, which is a point and shoot camera with a fixed aperture of 2.8. And we used a Fuji C200 film, which was already in the camera since we had shot it a few weeks ago. And yeah, this was the first film that we shot with this Yashica, and later on we used the Kodak Gold. So Chris, what are your first impressions to shooting with the point and shoot?
It's a little different in the studio. I have no idea if the focus is right, but it's a lot of fun to use this camera.
So for our first two looks, we went with a green striped dress and a plain white tee for Leia, as we wanted to keep it quite simple and accentuate the sunglasses that we were working with, which also matched the backdrop color.
Hey Anna.
Hey Chris.
How's your first impression?
Yeah, it's pretty much the camera that I usually work with, so I think everything's working out quite well. We had the Tiffin filter on before, and I think the images are a bit blurry, but now everything's working out fine, so
cool.
I think we continue.
Woo.
So with the Yashica T3, Chris of course had way less flexibility as he didn't have any interchangeable lens, and he had to pay a lot of attention to how the image was composed and how it was lit, and yeah, it was quite the challenge, right? So for our next look, we went with a white backdrop and a blue dress to create a lot of contrast in our imagery. Chris started shooting with the Yashica T3 and used our gallery block to create different compositions and new angles. So for this portrait shoot, I've been shooting the Sigma 24 to 70mm lens, and it's just given me a lot of flexibility to switch from full body portraits to close-up portraits, and this is really fun.
Cool.
We took a lot of different imagery from full body portraits to close-up portraits and simply experimented with the simplicity of our look and the backdrop. Our third and final look was a very 80s inspired shirt, which went perfectly with some pink sunglasses that we found online, and our model paired this with some sort of gym shorts, and that's the last look that we created, and we went with a lot of movement and tried out a lot of different things. So what settings have you been using on the T3?
So I started with all natural light today, because it's a very bright day, and yeah, we tried all natural, and now I switch a little bit between the flash mode and non-flash mode, and yeah, I'm pretty excited with the outcome.
Chris is now taking his final images with our model Leia, and after that the film is going to the lab, and we are very excited to see how the imagery turned out.
So after our shoot, I sent the Yashica T3 film to the lab, and now I got my film scans back.
I looked through all the digital imagery I took with the Nikon D850. So now we're going to take a look at the results and see who won in the Yashica T3 versus Nikon D850 camera challenge. So we got the first two results up. It's a digital frame and Chris's
Film scan?
Film scan? Yes.
Yeah. It's the green striped dress before our green colored backdrop, and I must say I'm quite impressed about the Yashica result. I was not expecting this, and yeah.
You only used natural light for this, right?
Yes, that's right.
Nothing else?
Nothing
no
else.
flash?
No flash.
Just, wow, okay, so...
Just the camera. I was not sure if the framing was all right and if the focus is right, but it worked out and I'm quite impressed.
And as you can see, there's a lot of difference in the backdrop color and in the colors overall. That's, of course, the main thing about shooting film is how the colors change.
Yes.
For the digital image, the backdrop is way more consistent and not that grainy. And it looks way more like pastel colored and way softer. And of course, the way I edited the image, of course, influenced this, but the image was quite flat. And as we only used natural light, there aren't any hard shadows on her face.
I like how the light hits her face and highlights the right or left side of her face perfectly. And yeah, that's really quite a good look.
I never know about left and right either, so that's fine. The Yashica T3 is a point-and-shoot camera which does all of the lighting automatically, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have no control over the shutter speed or the aperture, so it all decides by itself.
Okay, and you took some flash photos and some not to show. Okay, let's look at those.
Okay.
Wow, okay. That's quite the difference. Cool.
It's quite a difference, and it's pretty cool to see how the flash image
changes the backdrop color,
changes the overall look and feel.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's shot in the night. The natural look is so soft in its colors. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
And for the available light, you can hardly see any shadows.
Yeah.
But for the flash, you have these really hard shadows and these really intense blacks.
Yes.
And the contrast between her hair and the dress is just, I think it works out perfectly. I actually like the flash one better.
Me too.
I think this one's is really cool. Flash mode.
Yeah, and I'm quite impressed about how the flash lit the whole image.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anything from the flash photos, so yeah.
Of course, you were standing pretty close.
Yes.
And you had this like controlled environment.
Yes.
Like shooting a point-and-shoot camera in a studio environment is pretty unconventional. You usually use it quite in like, I don't know, everyday life or just these little moments. So I think it's really interesting to see how this camera actually works in like a studio environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, now we are on our white backdrop and the blue dress. And yeah, let's look at those two images.
We actually loved how the color combination worked out between the orange sneakers, the orange sunglasses, and the blue dress, just to get a bit of contrast and color in front of the white backdrop. We love working with colors, so this was like a must-have for us. And here you can see especially how the white changed, especially when working with film.
It's a little bit on the greener side, let's say that, and a little bit warmer, but it's due to the film look itself, and I guess your edit is a little more pastel and a little softer, so that's the main difference, I guess.
And this was the Kodak Gold, right?
It's the Kodak Gold 200, yes.
Yeah. I actually enlarged the backdrop in Photoshop, as you could see our backdrop thingy in the back. So yeah, this is pretty much it. And
I like the space, how you created around.
Yeah, I thought a bit more space would look like maybe it could be a campaign for shoes or anything else. I think it's a really good look, but yours is very like street style, relaxed, and just very approachable. So I really love the G3
I love both of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. So I think one of the main differences that we should talk about in our imagery overall is how we worked with movement. So maybe we should look at a few images like this. your imagery pretty much looks like it's out of a Wham video.
Yeah.
So that's also quite the look. I don't think it's in focus.
It's a little bit blurry.
But I don't think that's like.
But it's okay. I will not put it in the trash.
But I think it's still a look, and it looks like it's just very candid. Whereas the digital photo looks a little more posed and like there was more direction to it, which was actually the case for these images.
Yes.
I think that's actually one of the main differences, and something that we learned in this challenge is that it's just an entirely different way to work and to approach this, and that it just creates a different mood in the imagery, but you can't really compare the quality of the imagery. Like we both create a great imagery, I'd say.
I think so.
Okay. Wow. Okay. But I think the T3 did an amazing job. We only used this camera before for like travel or everyday things and just like little snapshots. We never used it in a studio environment or in any professional setting. The colors are awesome. Of course, they are a bit unpredictable. Like every image is a bit different.
I was very surprised about how the focus worked, and it nailed, I guess, 90% of the images. It nailed the focus perfectly, and it was definitely not the last time I will be shooting this camera in the studio.
Yeah, that's really cool.
My failure, I had 2 or 3 images when I pointed my finger towards the lens.
Finger lens, yeah.
But
that's how professional photographers work.
Of course, always put the finger at the lens. Gives the best results.
It's a self-portrait, basically. This were pretty much our results for the Yashica T3 versus Nikon D850 camera challenge.
We are very happy with the results, the film ones and the ones with the Nikon D850. And we are pretty excited to do more of these challenges in the future.
We definitely say that getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things as a photographer will always improve your photography. We have both been photographers for quite some time now, and we never tried anything like this, and it definitely inspired us to mix it up a bit more, shoot more film, try out new things. So this was great fun for us, and we hope you liked it too. Please let us know in the comments down below which were your favorite images, and hopefully see you soon for the next video. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.